Hello, everybody, and welcome to One Day Today. We are on episode 33 already. I don't know how that happened. We've had a lot of over 100 people so far share on our stage, and it's been really exciting just having this space to just have amazing people share themselves and share the gift that they are. And it's been really exciting for me because I feel every day we have a stage. I learned something I wasn't expecting. And it's just I just keep being pointed to just what brings us what we all have in common. We all have to face or go through something in ourselves to experience ourselves and to really see, you know, something bigger than ourselves that we're all a part of. And it's just beautiful to see everybody coming from different places to just to shine their unique shine in a way that contributes to us all. And I think it's just beautiful. So thank you everybody for joining us. Let's say hello to Matthew, our co-host. What's up, Matthew?
What's going on, guys? How's it going today?
It's going really well. I'm really excited about the future and what's to come and what we're creating here at One Day. And it's we're just about to really announce it to the world. And I'm excited. All the things that are
Yeah,
coming.
as crazy as it is out there, this does feel like the future in a lot of ways, doesn't it? Like it's just when we work together, we can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like there's a lot of people who are starting to realize that their way of working together wasn't really working. Like it wasn't, how can I put it? Actually, I like the way Buckminster Fuller said it once. He said, "You can't fix a system with the same type of thinking that created the system." And it really seems like a lot of what's happening right now is people getting broken out of their way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that this is happening now because there's so much ancient wisdom being shared. There's platforms like this that you and I are creating, that others are creating around the world to share that wisdom. And look for a different way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one that's not from thinking, but maybe from the heart.
Absolutely. It's it's in the network of conversations that we have with each other that we see the backdrop of our experience of our reality. And we're kind of facing now that the old paradigm uh you know is not only an old paradigm, it's not sustainable. And it's what's possible when we actually show up to ourselves, seeing ourselves and experiencing, recognizing the divine expression of the universe within ourselves. And when everybody can experience that, what's possible. And that's the world we live in. That's the world we're creating. We're creating a new era and new conversations, not based on what separates us, because ultimately what separates us in the conversations of division and separateness are an illusion that we believe because of the conversations that we ourselves, self prophesy or
Perpetuate.
mm-hmm, right,
Yeah.
and perpetuate exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to have this platform. But I want to, on that note, let's bring in our first guest. We've got first time guest Jalen Ong. Jalen, thank you for joining us.
Well,
Hi,
hey,
Abram. Hi, Matthew. Thank you for having me.
We
absolutely,
are
brother.
super excited to have you share, brother. I'm gonna just I'm just gonna let you hop into it. I'm excited to hear you share. So without further ado, Jalen, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Abram. Hi all. This is a strange situation that I put myself into. Yesterday, two friends of mine were actually just challenging me to share my story on this virtual stage, and yeah, today now I am here. Um, not sure where to start. Uh, no, now I'm in Australia. In a small town called Ballarat. It's used to be a gold digging mine that used to be very famous. Of course, now all the gold is gone. It's 2 hours drive from Melbourne. Pursuing a degree in performing arts. Years ago, I used to be an engineer. I'm a really obedient um, Asian kid, so I chose the path where my parents want me to do, the safe path. So I was an engineer for quite a number of years in Malaysia, and yeah, I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. I'm kind of glad. I kind of enjoyed, yeah, I guess the technical aspect of my career until it sort of reached a point where maybe it no longer is where I should be. And but I was sort of disconnected with who I am then. Um, and somehow part of the path led me to where I am today. Um, my parents were really unhappy with me, ditching a comfortable um, job, with security to pursue a degree, pursue a eventually a path in performing arts. Um, Perhaps I should trace back a few more years before that. What brought me to um, where I am today? So I was born biologically female and in Malaysia, and where I am in Malaysia, that's back then it was kind of a taboo. Even now, it's very much a taboo. And so I was surrounded by an environment where I felt that I am not that there's something really wrong with me. I grew up in an environment where my friends would tell me what I am, the gender conflict, the self conflict that I have is abnormal, is something completely wrong with me. So most of my life was trying to sort of, I guess, sort of looked into facing what is wrong with me, and even after transition, the whole transitioning process, I felt I always had to hide who I am. Um, we as a trans person in Malaysia, we're not entitled to insurance. We're not entitled a lot of very basic human, um, I guess, human that everybody else have. Um, I think that sort of formed a lot. I just want to say that sort of formed a lot of how um, limited my self belief was on what kind of life I could lead. Even getting a job, right? We trans people can't get can't can't get a job. So for the longest time, I had to do a lot of things to make sure that nobody knew that I'm trans, just so that I could get a job. I know a lot of trans women who, because they were not hired anywhere else, they have to resort to prostitution, because that was the only way they could sustain a livelihood. Um, that was the main trigger, I believe, that sort of made me feel that I had to leave my country and my original born country, as to where I am today. Um, Pursuing performing arts, performing arts, has always been something that I think I've been so drawn towards, even though I've not a lot of experiences since I was an engineer. Um, but lately, I realize I sort of come to terms on perhaps why I'm so drawn. In addition, of course, to the passion I have for the arts, to that is because I realize that there was not a lot of representation in the arts or in the media of trans people or even Asian people. Um, and I realized how important that is growing up because these are the role models we have. This the influence that media or the arts have on me, and speaking personally, is that when I look on me, even just a superhero movie, I've never seen an Asian superhero. I've never seen a trans superhero, and that sort of reinforces the idea that growing up that there was something wrong with me. That this is that what I am is not normal. If normal is, and which make me feel how important it is to tell stories, and to have representation of I guess trans people, of people with different cultural background, and of course it's not just where I come from. Also for, I guess, similarly when we start seeing in the past, slightly when we start seeing women as lead characters, um, we start getting inspired. I guess as it's for little girls, like, oh, I want to be that as well. Which is why that sort of make me feel that what I want to do with the arts is to tell more stories. And also to inspire people in a similar background as I am, that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, and you could, and everyone is entitled and is able to lead a happy and fulfilling life, no matter who you are, no matter what background you are. Yeah, I believe that's sort of hopefully summed up what I want to share for the first, yeah, for my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jalen. That was beautiful. I really appreciate it. Um, a lot of what you talked about, like, I find it kind of funny how a lot of people in Western culture are so quick to dismiss representation in stories. And yet it's one of the most powerful things I've ever witnessed. There was this little girl. She was black and she was deaf. That I had a friend of a friend who was watching her for a while, and there was a Disney princess on like I think it was like the Little Mermaid Disney show. I think is what it was. And they had a Princess Mermaid who was also black and also deaf, and they actually signed the American Sign Language. And the first time she saw that, like it was the most powerful thing she'd ever seen. Like she was crying. Like she's like, "That's me. That's me. Like I can be that."
Mm.
And I just thank you for putting yourself out there in that way and saying this is okay. Like, there was a lot of stuff that came when you were sharing your story, and representation. I feel like is one of those that's just amazing, and not just for the people who are being represented, but also like bringing your story to the people who have been so marginalizing it.
Mm. No, totally, Matthew. And I don't even recognize the power of that until I looked into the kind of shows that I'm watching. It could just be whatever shows that I'm watching, and I see a lot of a certain type of people, right? And I recognize that's how I have been influenced. That maybe that was normal, like even I guess from women's perspective, when they see like the idea of beauty is someone who's very thin, and every model that they see on TV is very thin, and that become the idea of beauty, right? And that is maybe, unfortunately, the only idea that was sort of perpetuated on, and sort of then they felt trapped, and every little girl growing up, they feel like as to become beautiful, I had to be like that, right? Which is why it's sort of so important to see every kind of people, um, in not a. I guess there were, like, if we talk about Asians, there are Asian characters, but Asian characters in popular cultures and popular movies tend to be that nerdy character, that or that joker. So and then it becomes a stereotype again and again, right? Yeah. I guess if I don't look at it that way, then it sort of influenced you without me being realizing that it was influencing the culture as a whole.
If, as a trans and an Asian, what's the story you would like to tell?
Um, I realize, like, a lot of especially in Asian countries. I think back in Malaysia, a lot of trans people feel like it's not safe being trans, and a lot of trans men that I used to know felt like they never want to identify themselves with being trans. After the transition, their entire life is trying to hide that past. I've had a friend who, as he was dating, um, he couldn't even tell his lover, his closest girlfriend, that he's trans. And every time she is close to finding out, they would break up. He would break up with her, and which means there's so much shame with that identity. So much shame. Um, so I felt that, which is why it's so important as a medium to neutralize being trans. To neutralize that it's completely okay to be a trans person, and it's completely normal. Um, yeah, and because of, I feel it's because of the culture, because of the media, that they felt that a lot of trans people felt that they're alone, as if, because there was no real support system, because it in itself is against the law, to change your gender. So there was no support system. Who you are as an identity is wrong in the eyes of the law. So without art, without that being put in front of them, I think everyone, as a trans man growing up, feel that, unless they met good people or good support network, they felt that they are not enough, that they are wrong, which I feel is so important to see more stories of that in mainstream, in something that they could see, so that they feel that they're just another person, uh, with a different background.
Yeah. There's not really a place for gay, trans people in Western culture, and Western culture has kind of assimilated pretty much everything else at this point, or at least infiltrated, if not
Mm,
outright co-opted. Um, and it's always something that's confused me. Like, I am very familiar with a lot of the indigenous cultures, and in many of the tribes and nations, it was the gay, lesbian, trans who were the caretakers of the village children. They were the educators. They were the doctors. They were like, they didn't have the responsibilities that the parents had. And so, like, they were free to come in and take care. And they were often called the people of two souls,
mm,
because either they were felt that they had both the masculine and the feminine balance within them,
yeah,
or their most recent past life they had been the other sex and the soul hadn't fully transitioned yet, and so
yeah,
it was kind of like a transitionary period.
yeah, yeah. It's really interesting to see, like, how the roles, and in those tribes that being non-binary, they are sort of not somewhat actually celebrated as, whereas somehow, I guess, in Western culture, or even in Asian culture, it's not really, and you sort of pushed aside. You become like, this should not be talked about, kind of a thing, which yeah, which I felt, especially trans people growing up, hopefully can be exposed to, because then they realize that, um, it's just not all this this binary culture that we are so exposed to.
Right. Yeah. Well, I acknowledge your courage and your just vulnerability and your authenticity and sharing, your whole story, because it's amazing that you're here sharing and just pointing to the same truth that we as humans we forget a lot. And it's like we to some extent everybody has had that experience where they don't feel like they're enough or they don't belong. And
Mm,
to be like you're saying, like in Asia where it's against the law, if you're born against law, and if that's how you grow up, the perceive your experience of the world is that you're not enough, you're wrong. It's like a system built on just being born less than. And it's tragic because we all gain so much when every soul sees themselves for who they are. And I just think it's beautiful. And I have a question about your in your own experience, because you're passionate about performing arts. You've not focused on engineering because you found the arts. And I'm curious, like, where does your personal self-expression fit in your experience of not being enough and not fitting in? And like,
mm.
and where do you, because I see art being like full circle, like you're taking something, a difficult situation, and making beauty out of it. So I'd love to hear your share about that.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's funny. It My love for performing arts, or for the arts, like for the longest time, I felt was sort of disconnected with me being trans, or or my background. It was just, I guess I love music, and I've always love I think, like, when I was singing, it just felt like I had this moment that I was sort of escaped. So maybe that was just it. It's always been that, a hobby that I've enjoyed. And acting to sort of take me out of, I guess, sort of can lead lives or characters that is not who you are. And there has always been this joy, perhaps, of exploring someone who is completely not me. So it's just that joy of being able to transcend transcend who I felt I am, and being able to play all these different roles. So it was sort of disconnected to, um, what I feel, that I talked about, being trans, being Asian. But then I now realize, as I got through it all, and as I watch movies, as I watch, that this is, perhaps that's the whole full circle. That the passion was not a rational thing. It was not a, oh, I want to do this because I want to represent, I want representation. It was not that way. It was not a rational thing. It was just this self-expression that has always been so drawn to. And now I realize that, and perhaps this is there's certain stories that I want to tell.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, what you were just explaining is what I see is like the role of what art does for ourselves and for humanity. It's art that points us to that wonder, to the beauty, to truth, something bigger than ourselves, and it breaks us out of our small frame that our mind wants us to see the world and like label this that, like, and art breaks us out of that paradigm and like opens us up to something bigger. And I think it's beautiful because you're saying like you're taking a situation that maybe has pain and has suffering, and you're separating yourself from it, and you're it's like you can look at it, it's like you can see it as opposed to be it. And I think that's what's so beautiful. And I think it's amazing. And it's amazing that you are following that passion and that of your own self-expression, because that's what how a diamond and a pearl are made, is under pressure. And that's I see is like that's the beauty of humans too, is when when we can overcome that pressure of the world, we can transcend that pain and that suffering. Just something beautiful comes on the other side, and I see that with you. It's just who you are, and just your joy and your encouragement, and you're such a loving person, and I really just I acknowledge your courage and just who you are, and just we're so much better off having you just share with us. So I really appreciate it being here with us, Jalen. I hope you'll come back and share with us some more and sing some songs.
Thank you, Abram. Definitely in the beginning of my performing arts journey, but yeah, I would love to. Thank you for that, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for that acknowledgement.
Absolutely. We're gonna come back just a moment. We're gonna bring in our second guest, and we'll check back in with you in a moment, Jalen. For everybody at home tuning in, thank you for hanging out with us. This is an amazing experience for me, like I said before, because it's a space for you. It's a space for you to share who you are, your unique gift, your unique genius, passion, talent. Just we all gain and have so much to learn and to be enriched by with who you are and your gift of who you are. And we want to encourage you and invite you to share on this stage. The website on the bottom of the screen, you'll see onedaymvmt.org/virtual stage sign up. And this is an open invitation, because this is a space that we will see you, we will accept you, we will love you as who you are, and we will see you as the big divine expression of the universe that you really are. And we want to give you this space to share what you have to offer, because who you are and you bringing who you are to us, I benefit, and my neighbors benefit, and everybody I don't know benefits. And I want to keep this open invitation. So please do join this stage. We want to share your story. That's part of what our mission here is at One Day. We're bringing you and I and communities together in joyous celebration, unifying humanity in our diversity to create a better world for us all. And that's what we're doing, one story at a time, one share at a time. I'd like to now bring in our next guest. We have Marjorie. Hello, Marjorie. She's back. She's back for more. We're so happy to have you. How are you today, Marjorie?
I am so awesome. I am feeling exuberant in my day. Thank you so much for having us here. I have with me my tour mates, my healing partner, Elijah Mindset Margano.
Much love and light to y'all. Thank y'all for holding space. And that first part and those stories were phenomenal. And your breakdown of it was extremely exciting. I'm feeling the vibrations over here. The energy is awesome. So thank you for having us.
Oh, we're very happy to have you. So I'm gonna just let you have at it and let you have this your stage space. So
awesome.
The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna come down a little bit more so I can be closer. Much love and light, everyone. So to start today's live, we are going to share about the tour that we are on right now. Our tour is called Demystifying Awareness. And we are traveling to different states, to different communities, and we are enlightening our galactic tribe, helping them to keep themselves elevated and aware and conscious, more conscious and intentional.
Yeah, I'm a mental health advocate. We're also prophets and prophetess, and I'm also someone that has dealt with trauma. So the demystifying awareness tours and mental health in itself, it needs a bridge to create that solutions for not just ourselves, but the people in our family. So we're touring around, sharing and showing off our creativity, also sharing with our principles of overcoming fear and raising your vibration or dying, because this is its exciting times, like y'all said in the beginning. We both had the idea to do a tour separately back in the beginning of the year before everything kicked off. We linked, actually was a guest on her show last year, and then we linked back up in March. She was a guest on my show, and we also brought her on we launched our own show called Galactic Force 3 with our counterpart, Denise. And since then, we've been excited about intertwining this tour.
Yes.
We've been in New York, Connecticut,
New Jersey,
Virginia so far. We're in Virginia right now for the
We
next
touched
year.
into Delaware a little bit.
Mhm.
We've been touched on in Delaware a little bit. We sharing our light. Now we're in Virginia, out here providing those awesome healing sessions, asking people what it is about their spirituality that is hiccuping them in life. Why are they holding back? Because we know that you all feel the call. You might not know what it is, and you can't put a word to it, but you definitely feel the tugging in your inner soul. And we're here to help relay that message and provide some clarity to that uncomfortable energy that you're feeling, and to allow you to understand that that's part of the distraction that's going out into the world during this stay-at-home pandemic that the world is experiencing.
And actually, the word I'm done with pandemic anymore. It's a plague. It's a plague of the mindset. My original name is Elijah, but I go by mindset because the mindset has been programmed and reprogrammed that no one really knows for themselves.
Yeah.
I said, I love myself. I said, my CELLPH for the dominant. My cells, my DNA, they said it's in the blood, so I'm convinced that's where our ancestors lay. So raising your vibration through creativity, through self-love, and that is how we are healing partners. And we're just sharing that with our family. Right now, we're staying on the East Coast because we're both in the East Coast, but we are running a fundraiser to raise funds, $12,000 for our RV, so we can take this across America, touching base with our tribe, along with our family.
Yes, we are dedicated to do this all day. This is what we do. This is why we put ourselves on a tour mindset, because it's absolutely 24/7 with us. And we want to make sure that we're putting our energy in front of intentional individuals that are looking for the right responses and solutions to go forward. A lot of us have acquired a lot of knowledge. We do not know what to do with it, in what accordance, in what step process. And we want to help provide some clarity and insight.
Don't you got some values that you feel like?
Yes.
Yeah.
So because I have amazing people that are commenting on my so what are they called? Politically correct.
Politically incorrect posts, like
Politically
incorrect.
My politically incorrect posts are definitely have sparked quite a bit of controversy on my Facebook page. If you are interested, definitely check out my feed and you will see all the questions and comments that I've been receiving. So, but the positive benefit out of it is that it helps me to bring back my memory, because I am bringing back my memory. Yes, I'm recovering from the concussion experience, which did, it did break some neural pathways that do not make it as easy for me to retrieve that memory, which is what I know. So allowing my brain to redirect that response is so essential. So the thought came to me before this, that why am I pushing out so much thought? Is because I need to re-trigger my body to align with the things that do matter to me. Because if you don't allow yourself to experience something that does matter to you, eventually over time it'll feel like it doesn't matter to you because it's not in your now moment. So I'm gonna share some thoughts. It's like 10 commandments. And a lot of people might think this is unrealistic, but our situation right now is extremely unrealistic. So why don't we just take it down a peg from extremely unrealistic and just bring it down to unrealistic? So these are my 10 shared thoughts of commandments. To identify with this situation is a pure understanding of what propaganda looks like. This situation that we're experiencing right now in 2020 is a pure understanding of what propaganda looks like. And if you don't know what propaganda is, go and Google it. I'm not going to give you all of that information.
That's commandment number 1. Commandment number 2.
People can stop getting sick the second they start to change their mindset. Our experience is all in the mind. So what we tell our mind is what our body will experience. So the second our body starts experiencing some type of illness, we just need to correct our mindset and bring it back to a positive nutrient.
Number 3.
We need to align our body fully. We need to fully align our body. We need to feel wholeness. not just wellness, not just safety. We need to feel wholeness. We need to feel safe and well in every aspect of our life, everything that we're doing, even things that seem uncomfortable. You need to feel safe in it, and you need to feel like it's in alignment with your body. The fourth, it is required to get counseling, coaching, mentorship through this transition. It is required for us to figure out how to integrate this into our school framing, so it's something that we naturally are going to accept. Because as intelligent as we are, we need an outside reflection that is unbiased of our situation.
Number 5.
People with underlying health conditions are at most risk because their vibration is already low and in a fear state. So in order for us to be able to identify the changing of the mindset, definitely need to understand that if you're already at a high risk, it's even more essential for you to raise the vibe and change your state of mind.
Number 6.
To get out of fear state is to learn your parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, understand there's a fight or flight or a rest and relax state for your body to be in. And you get to call the shots of when it's happening. But right now, the world has us in a state of fear, so we are not calling the shots of what state our body is in. So it's very vital for you to go and learn what the parasympathetic nervous system is. And if you feel like this information is too much, I would like to go back to my step number 4, which is to require you to get counseling, coaching, or mentoring, because this is a lot of information and you should not do this alone. Now, can you do it alone? Yes, you can. We've done it alone, but we are very high vibrational beings that are very, very determined. So if you feel like you get a lot of stoppage in life and it's easy for people to deter you, get someone to hold you accountable.
Number 7.
Number 7. If you have any questions or concerns, understand that I am relaying this information as well as mindset, and we are fully aware and capable to provide these services in front of an audience. So if you feel as though that more people need to hear this message, this is what we're here for. You just have to be willing to put us in front of your community and let your community know how much you love them by showing them these new sets of values.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Number 8.
Number 8. Since I bring all this information to you and I am not a one-man show, I am here to let you know that I have plenty of tribe mates, such as the One Day Crew, that we can help you transition into this purposeful life that you're looking for. So there is no reason for you to say that you are lacking, because I am here giving you a pure understanding that I'm ready to help you and redirect you to where you need to be. And if I'm not able to help you, I definitely have a tribe of people that are willing to sit there and stand tall for you to help you reflect. So the number
9.
9.
Favorite number.
And I love that this is the number 9. We need to reconnect to our communities. Yes, reconnect to our communities. What is a community? What do communities look like to me? How many communities am I involved in and I'm not paying attention to?
What's in our community? What are the jobs of the people that are in it? What's the assets and resources of this community? Big things to start thinking about.
Yes.
And number 10.
Number 10. You want to read number 10?
Go into your spirit and find the truth. We are here always, and that leading that up. Can you get this out with the group, because this is how we go into our spirits to find the truth.
So this is how we share on our lives. So if you want to check us out, we go live at least 2 to 3 times during the week, speaking about our Demystifying Awareness tour. But he definitely goes live almost every day, talking about how you can improve your mindset.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh lafia, Ashe, Ashe, Hoya, Hoshuna, making a way. Yeah. We waking and praying, we see our demons every day. We look in the mirror, we say hallelujah anyway. They said religion is for those that scared of hell. Spirituality for those that did it well. Since I've been to hell twice, I looked the devil in his eyes, kissed him on the cheek and said goodbye. I started chasing my dharma, my spiritual purses, I put on the armor. I look in the mirror, ground myself, understanding that faith and fear can't exist in the same atmosphere. So I choose faith over everything. Instead of faking it till I make it, I faith it till I make it. So stay blessed while you let the heavens sing.
I love my community.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you to all you galactic beings for being a part of the Galactic Show. And I look forward to seeing more and more of your talents.
Big facts. And in all honesty, just to end, as I said, we got about 2 minutes left. We definitely appreciate everything that you do. Self-love, self-appreciation goes really far.
Yes.
Understanding that this plague is a mental disease, so it's either faith and fear. Getting aligned, as we said earlier, and attaching to a community for accountability, because your community, you're the sum total of your 5 closest friends. So in this time where people are becoming metas and utilizing abilities, it's definitely time to see who has abilities and aware of it in your family and friends, and then also try to make your way to those that are digitally connected. We got the World Wide Web, the Akashic Records, and the alkaline crystalline grid. So there's no excuse for us not to be able to be with Soul Tribe. Grateful. Thank you for this opportunity. Stay blessed and highly favored. Ooh, I'm hot, bro.
Feeling it.
That was a good point.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Marjorie. Mindset. That was awesome. Like everything, like just your commandments, as you call them, but that song like gave me the chills. Like I love what's stuck in my head. I mean, a lot of things you said in that when you were speaking during that song. You know, you can't have faith and fear at the same time. I love that. It's you know, I've discovered that myself, but we forget sometimes when we're following that fear, we forget that it's a distraction that we feed it when we follow it. And
yeah, exactly. And Marjorie has shared with me a very insightful tip, because we are made up of yin and yang, high vibrations and low vibrations. And when we get the fear and when we're feeding it, we're also getting like jealousy or envy or depression. So when you can learn to remove yourself from the feeling and observe it and start to ask yourself questions, like that's what the importance of having an accountability partner or a healing partner. Yeah, you and your hostmate Matthew, y'all keep each other accountable on the business side. They can hear the fear or the confidence inside of it. So being able to start identifying it will allow us to let go of certain emotions or be able to pivot towards faith.
Yes.
Beautifully said. That's powerful. I see that. I like that. It's a pivot. It is a pivot.
Slowly. It's not a race.
Right.
No, it's not. The community part especially resonates, and it brought up a poem I'd like to share with you guys. This was actually sent to me from the Hopi elders. To my fellow swimmers, here is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid, who will try to hold on to the shore. They are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off to the middle of the river, and keep our heads above water. And I say, who is there to see you celebrate? At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we have been waiting for.
Yes.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Hey Matt, can we tell you how aligned that shit was? Like we literally did yoga in the James River yesterday, right? We were doing a healing session with my brother and our other partner, and it was a part of the river. It was like by a little waterfall, and it was a part of the river where the current got really rapid. So it wasn't that deep, so you could see the rocks underneath. And me and Marjorie are like, we're good right here. Because if we go any further, that shit's gonna take us away. And I'm sitting there like, that's what I want. Like, that's exactly what I want. I just want to let go and be taken away. And I did. And I a couple of knee scrapes and butt scrapes later, I popped up on the other end. I still was alive. And the dope shit about it is Marjorie did it. She came right after me. That was lit. Like, so for you to say that right now and saying it's from the elder, we definitely appreciate that.
Yes.
It felt appropriate, yeah. And like I love that you two were doing this together. That you like this. It starts with one, but quickly becomes two, and from there it just grows. And
It's harmonious.
yeah, we don't even need to do this alone. Like we could, but why? Like why struggle? Why deal with that shit? Like why? Like let's have fun together. Let's co-create. Let's dance. Let's play. Let's go. Let's get out there, right?
And learning how to do it efficiently and effectively in turbulent times is how the light workers have to understand. A lot of us been killed before for doing this. A lot of us been hung. A lot of us been burnt. There's a lot of trauma that's coming up. And when you have someone that you maybe died at the stake with, and now they're like, yo, I'm not dying at the stake this time. Like, no one's martyr. We're going to do this shit very efficiently. So let's get and gather and following the solutions with the controlled, aware beings. And that's why whenever we have opportunities like this, I got an epiphany. I was like, yo, I got to bring you on my interviews. Like she didn't even ask me to be on this interview. She was just like, yeah, we're on the interview tomorrow. I'm like, like what? But in the midst of that, like, and the crazy awesome thing, I felt like she didn't even articulate it to the utmost that I was going to be here. So it's just saying and feeling all of those. We're in a time now where more of us need to hang out and mastermind. Like, yeah, we could do it by one could strike 1,000. That's dope. But two could strike 10,000. And then four could strike 1,000,000. So it's just like we're now in a state where we shouldn't shut up. If you know any light worker that be like, they don't know anybody that's like them, that's because they're not talking. They're not light working. They're not playing. Because if you're playing, we were out playing. We both podcasters and we were playing on Social World and we came across each other and was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This gotta go.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is play.
Yeah.
It is play. Like I used to take this shit so seriously, right? Like it actually matters, and it does matter in a sense, but like in taking it seriously, it seemed to lower the vibration actually.
It does.
Like it seemed to drop it.
Yeah. That's why we call it plurking now. It's plurking.
Plurking?
Plurking.
Because the thing is, because work has money and responsibility attached to it. The way that the collective has created the work and the schedule, we aren't workers. We are out here living in our dharma or living in our purpose. So once the light worker or shadow worker learns how to play and work at the same time, like your kids start calling you a YouTuber and you didn't know you were a YouTuber or that was even a fucking job. My bad for cursing if I don't know.
We don't have any official rules. You're good, man. That's
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, and it's and that's kind of what I see happening in the world right now is like all the light workers, all the stands for peace, all the people are showing up. Like and that's kind of what One Day is. We want to be a lighthouse. We want to bring everyone's light together because in this time, I mean, we are seeing the circumstances of us avoiding, looking away, and not seeing light, and not seeing ourselves, and just identifying with the shadow and just the fear, and instead of the faith, instead of the love. And it's like, and for me, in my showing up, in my own experience, it's what I've realized a lot. I mean, I'm very much inspired by peace and by sharing that experience of transformation and peace from what I've been through and how one thing I've discovered is, amidst, where there's a lot of conversations of separateness, there's a lot of toxic people marinating in their toxicity without even being aware of it, not aware of the toxicity in their physical space, of their emotional space, their psychological space, their spiritual space. And I see it's like a lot of time it's like leaving space for that, for that side, but also holding up a mirror. And that's kind of what I see as COVID is doing. Like everyone's kind of forced in this quarantine experience, everyone's kind of forced to look in the mirror. It's like, why do I feel so uncomfortable right now? Why do I feel this pain? Why do I feel this suffering? And it's, I just see this opening. It just, people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves now. And for my own experience, it's, what I realize is the path to peace is not the same thing as avoiding conflict. It's like it's
exactly big fact. No, it's having conflict and remaining peaceful or calm so you can be solution. We're spiritual generals. The least title that we would take on earth is prophets and prophetess. So you have to handle situations or conflict differently. Like you had said something about taking it personal. If you take anything personal, you're not on your spiritual path. You ain't laughing at that joke. And I, like you, Matthew, I was taking this shit very serious I've been on it for 9 years, and I've been married and divorced. I've had people to say that they're down for it and they back out. But what I've learned is that I was taking it too serious and not knowing how to pay attention to the signs. The thing about having a dope divine counterpart, male or female, is when you're taking it too serious, they're gonna lighten the mood. And they're gonna lighten it they're gonna lighten it at your expense, with your expense.
I love it. It's well, I'm gonna bring in Jalen here now. Let's bring Jalen back. So
Hey.
Hey, Jalen, good to have you back. So I'm like, I love both of your shares. It all like, I see. It's funny. The term light worker is such as everyone sees that differently, but I see the people who are recognizing their true authentic selves. Right now, I just see the importance and value, but the openings and opportunity have never been greater for connection, for community, for collaboration. And you're both. I love every time we have that one of these. There's some theme that connects. There's something that connects in some way without us trying. And it's like I just want to talk about performance and the role of performing arts in this day and age, in this new era we create. I just wanted to put that out there to see your thoughts. And Jalen, if you had anything to say about what was shared, or if you guys had anything to share, what Jalen shared.
No, I just thought it was beautiful, and I'm so inspired that you're out there, encouraging people in this healing path, which I felt it's so important with everything that is happening, So it's just so nice to see that the passion to inspire people to embark on this healing path, which I think is so important.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And even with with you, Jalen, like you have to learn how to tell your story. That's how it paints the picture.
Yeah.
And the more you fall in love with your story, and for you to break the stereotypes and the stigmas of what an Asian person or a successful Asian person looks like is huge. I got to walk in your shoes. That's the thing about being a light clerker. I play with my imagination and energy all the time. Like, I'm never not playing with energy. That's one thing that I tell everyone. So it's just, I was playing with energy with Jalen, and I actually got to be where you were. And that's how me, personally, I'm able to perform or have what I did with y'all, that was a freestyle or free flow. So it's like a story. So I love freestyling because I'm playing with those images, and they're all of our images. They're not just mine. So Marjorie is a performing arts person as well. So like when I had all my videos on Facebook Live, I'm like, why you're not doing Facebook Live videos like that? She's like, I'm doing it, but this is a stage. Like, this is TV.
Yeah.
So like, that's how I feel. Performing arts is switching over.
Yeah. Definitely.
I agree.
And I love how Jalen spoke about triggers, because it's good to know that this is happening, that it's a trigger, and there's something needs to happen, but there's a next step, and speaking about community, and it really showing that reflection of everything that he's saying, is ultimately like, this is the manifestation of those thoughts, the comfortability that you feel between our flow of how we engage and interact with each other. That is the manifestation of what you're saying. And the more you believe in it, the more you push those new paradigms into your world, it's going to look so stupendous. And I'm really excited to see how everyone paints their everyday life.
Big facts. I just want to quote Maya Angelou real quick. She was in an interview with Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle was asking her, like, when they was killing your friends, wasn't you getting upset? Because Maya Angelou was friends with Malcolm and Martin, so she got to witness a lot of like global assassination. It wasn't like how weird the world is triggered by a George Floyd and a Kobe and a Nipsey now. And she said, we did get upset, but we knew we were outgunned. We couldn't shoot them and fight them, but we took our anger and passion and put it in our books and in our plays and in our art and in our shows. So in that sense, and this stuck with me. I watched this video like maybe 4 or 5 years ago before she had passed away. And literally, that is the same time that we're in now. And if we can harness this time, anything done or created right now is going to be a part of history. 100 years from now, they're going to look at what the hell shut everything down. Look at this. So I'm enjoying the stage play of this planet called Earth right now, and I'm playing it the best way that we can.
Absolutely. And I just like to add one more thing to that in my experience, there's nothing that cannot be healed. There's nothing that cannot be healed through love, with love as love. And the most powerful example of this I've ever heard was there was a woman who came from Namibia, I think it was Namibia. She her son had been kidnapped as a baby and was basically turned into a child soldier by a local warlord. And as part of that process, often what they're forced to do is go back and kill their parents. And the kids, the way they were invited back into the villages was through song. Like, their songs were not about love and sex and whatever that's in pop culture today here in the West. It was about the children who had been taken away and how they would be loved if they were to come home, how welcoming they would feel if they came home.
I feel that.
And they did, and they do, and it's a journey for them, and they have to overcome a lot of trauma and shame and fear and repression and everything else they've been through, but they do. It is possible.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Matt. That's huge, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I really I'm so grateful and happy that you, Jalen, and you start you. I'm just so happy that you all shared with this. Every time I have an episode, I'm like lit up just by the connections and the lights that's to spark in my in me, and it's why we keep doing this. It's just like, how can we lose when we have just so many beautiful people in the world shining their light? And that's ultimately what we're here doing. We want to focus on beauty when the world talks about pain. We want to talk about, what's possible when the world talks about survival. Like we don't want to just resort to survival. What we're talking is way bigger than just surviving. It's about thriving. It's about seeing and experiencing, you know, beautiful new world because we say so, because we can. And uh, Gandhi has a quote. It says, I've quoted probably 4 million times on the stage, but it always hits home and it always applies. It's like, let the villages of our future uh, live in our imagination, so we may one day come to live in them. And I just see, like, if we see our future as burning, burning fire, rain, and terrible things, and like that's the future we're going to live into because we say that, and we can create something else. Our reality arises out of language and what we say, what our mindset is, and what our how we frame reality is the reality that we see and the reality that we get. And this is a new reality, and everybody who shared is just makes me feel warm that that reality is just one step closer, because that's what this space is. So just thank you both. Thank all of you for sharing. This has been amazing, and I'm so happy and just grateful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Abram.
So excited. We love your mission.
Thank you, Abram. It's an honor to be on this stage, and this one day. This is such a beautiful project. It's such a beautiful thing that you've created for this to happen. So I really want to thank you for that.
Thank you. The honor is all ours. We couldn't be here without you sharing your story. But thank you so much. We hope you both will come back. All three of you will come back real soon and share some more and give us some updates from the road and all the stories and people you've crossed. But thank you all at home
Thank you guys.
for
Yeah.
tuning in,
Thank
and
you.
everybody just for sharing this space with us. We want to invite and encourage you to share your story, your gift, your genius with us. Like, I gained something from it, you gained something from it, Jalen gained something from it, Matthew gained something from it, Marjorie, mindset. We all gained something by you seeing you as who you are, not who you think you are, not your thoughts about who you are, but who you are underneath all those layers of stories and masks that we are told we have to have. We want you to share yourself and your gift. This is the space for you, and that's what we're holding. And part of our vision of one day is very much you sharing your gift. It's humanity rising in a connected world with each person's unique contributions being valued and magnified through a higher level of collaboration, producing unprecedented new realms of possibility. And we're standing in that vision, and every person that comes our way, it just makes me see how we can reach it, because it's beautiful people are in the world that are making us closer to that one day at a time. And that's why one day is today. Thank you all. Thank you all our guests, and we'll see you on Thursday with some 2 more amazing guests. I love you all. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.